Ciao a tutti e benvenuti al Tavolo Italiano. Hello everybody and welcome to the Italian table. This lesson is on essere, Italian for to be. All about essere, Italian for to be. A few footnotes before we start. This lesson assumes you know the basics of conjugating Italian verbs in a few tenses, those covered in Verb Drills 1. And the uses of the verb essere. If you are not, I'd encourage you to review those videos first. We may also be touching on some tenses you have not used yet. This video is not going to cover the ins and outs of those tenses, when they're used, why they're used, etc. We're just looking at essere in each tense, how the verb is conjugated in each tense, the mechanical practice of doing that. You can find out more about these individual tenses at tavoloitaliano.com. Okay, pronto? Let's get started. A different approach. As I do with most everything, I look at the division of tenses a little differently than most do. Technically speaking, the correct way to categorize the various tenses would be to look at the definite, which is the indicative, the imperative, the conditional, and then the subjunctive. And then the indefinite, which is the infinitive, the participle, and the gerund. For the purposes of this lesson, I look first at what I call simple tenses, non-subjunctive that is, meaning no auxiliary verb, and then move on to the participle and the compound tenses, which are made from simple tenses and the participle. Then I handle the subjunctive in the same way. The infinitive is in the title, essere in Italiano, and to be in English. And then I leave the gerund for the lessons on the progressive tenses. I think you'll see what I mean as we proceed through this lesson. Okay, for most of you, these first four tenses should be almost more of a review, especially if you've gone through all the videos on Verb Drills 1. Il tempo presente, this present tense. These are indicative. Sono, I am. Sei, you are. E, he or she is. Siamo, we are. Siete, y'all are. And sono, they are. Now I want to tell you before I go on, it's really important that you learn these tenses because you're going to find out if you commit these simple tenses to memory, meaning you remember that sono is I am, etc., when we get to the compound tenses, you're going to be amazed at how easy it is. Because, once again, the compound tenses are simply the simple tenses plus the past participle. Okay, here we go. Il tempo imperfetto, the imperfect tense, is ero, I was being, or I used to be. Something I wanted to point out here, I just alternated the use of I was being and used to be in here so that you'd see them both, but either or applies to every verb. Okay, so ero, I was being. Eri, you used to be. Era, he, she used to be. Eravamo, we were being. Eravate, y'all used to be. Erano, they were being. Il tempo futuro, the future tense. Sarò, I will be. Sarai, you will be. Sarà, he or she will be. Saremo, we will be. By the way, I want to pause for a minute here. It's very, very important on here that you pronounce it saremo and not saremo. Because as you'll see when we get to the conditional, that's the only difference. The conditional tense has another M. So, saremo, we will be. Sarete, y'all will be. And saranno, they will be. Il tempo passato remoto, I was. By the way, I want to, real quickly, I'd just like to throw this out here, and I used to be like this too. My approach was, the passato remoto, you can get by without learning it, and it is true, but the farther I've gotten into Italian, the more I wish I would have put more focus on the passato remoto early in my learning. It is a simple past. Like I drove, I was, etc. Okay? And it's a very, very useful tense, and it's not that hard to learn. Okay. Fui, I was. Fosti, you were. Fu, he or she was. Fummo, we were. Foste, y'all were. And furono, they were. The imperative should also be more of a review, while the conditional may be new. But remember, with the imperative, we don't look at it like I, you, he, she, we, y'all, and they, like we do all the rest of them. Instead, the imperative is listed. It's broken up into the informal and the formal, and there's no io, no I. Okay? So it's you, us, y'all, which is informal, and then you, y'all, which technically is the same person that we use for he, she, and they, which is the formal, okay? And once again, there's no I in the imperative. So here it is. Si, be, excuse me, imperative, it's a command. Siamo, let's be. Siate, be. Sia, be. Siano, be. Okay, well, sounds kind of silly, be, but and it can be used in the imperative essere as well. For instance, if you ever told a kid, be good, okay, so that would be a good example when it's used. Okay, il tempo condizionale, the conditional tense. Very, very good tense to use. It comes in really handy. It's amazing how much you use it. You don't realize it until you need it. Sarei, I would be. Saresti, you would be. Sarebbe, he or she would be. Saremmo. Okay, see here, this is what I was talking about. The future tense is just less that M. So saremo is we will be. Saremmo is we would be. Sareste, y'all would be. And sarebbero, they would be. Okay, this brings us to the end of our first set of simple tenses. If you need to review these, re-review these, if we don't have them up on the website yet, there will be documentation soon so you can study these. Then when you move into the compound tenses, which we're about to do, it's going to make your life so easy, okay? Now, the other part of the compound tenses that you're going to need to learn is the participio passato. Okay, which is the past participle, okay? The past participle, and I'm not going to go into great detail about this, but simply put, the past participle is like the word driven. You'd never say, I driven to the store. You say, I drove to the store. But if it happened farther back, or if you used a compound tense in English, you'd say, I have driven to the store. You don't say, I have drove to the store. Or I had driven to the store. Or I could have driven to the store. Driven is a past participle. So the past participle in Italian for essere is stato. But stato is only singular and masculine. Some past participles you don't have to worry about gender. Essere, you do. It has to match the subject. Io, tu, lui, lei. So if it's a lady, instead of stato, it'd be stata, because that is the feminine. If it's plural, it's either all male or mixed, stati. If it's all feminine, state. Okay? So, stato, stata, stati, and state is the past participle for essere. Once again, it's not difficult. Don't let it overwhelm you. It's all stato. You just change that last letter. Stato, stata, stati, state. Okay, now let's look at these compound tenses. If you have the simple tenses that we have covered so far committed to memory, along with the past participle options that we discussed, then these four are a breeze. Basically, they amount to review and combining what we already know. For example, il tempo passato prossimo, which is the same as our present perfect. In English, present perfect is I have been there, I have eaten, etc. For essere, the auxiliary verb, or the first verb you use, is essere. So, sono and then stato. So if you're a man, you're going to say stato. If you're a woman, you would say sono stata. Okay? I'm not going to cover that every time, but that's why you'll see the /a. So if I say sono stato, it could be stato or stata. In the plural, you'll see if I have siamo, then the past participle has to be plural. So stati or state. Okay? And so there we go. So here we go. The passato prossimo. Sono stato, I have been. Sei stato, you have been. È stato, he or she has been. Siamo stati, we have been. Siete stati, y'all have been. Sono stati, they have been. Okay, now for the il tempo tra passato prossimo, which is our past perfect, all we have to do is, instead of using the present tense of essere here, you'll notice, the auxiliary verb was used in the present tense. Here we just use it in the imperfect tense, and we already know that too from the simple tenses from before. So instead of sono stato, I have been, it's ero stato, I had been. Okay? Eri stato, era stato, eravamo stati, eravate stati, and erano stati. Okay? So here it's I have been, here is I had been. I had been is farther back in the past tense. So, for instance, okay, the passato prossimo is the past as seen from the present. Okay? So, I have been to Paris 3 times. I'm looking at the past from the present. The tra passato prossimo, or the past perfect, is the past as seen from the past. So, for instance, by time I arrived, they had eaten all of the ice cream. Okay, so they'd already ate all the ice cream before I arrived, and I arrived in the past, but the eating of the ice cream happened even before, so it's viewing the past from the past. And all you have to do is the auxiliary verb, sono, se, e, siamo, siete, sono, changes to ero, eri, era, eravamo, eravate, erano. But the stato and stati remains the same. So sono stato, sei stato, è stato, siamo stati, siete stati, sono stati turns into ero stato, eri stato, era stato, eravamo stati, eravati stati, erano stati. Okay, does that make sense? Good, because we're moving on. Once you get it, how to construct the compound tenses, then the options just keep growing. Check out these next two. Once again, if you study and memorize the simple tenses and past participles, these become very, very easy. For example, if you remember the conditional, if you study and memorize a conditional tense of essere, you can use that. Remember, the one was the present tense of essere for the auxiliary verb, then the past participle. Then we did the imperfect tense of essere and the past participle for the past perfect, or il tempo passato tra passato prossimo. Now, for il tempo condizionale passato, or the conditional past, all we have to do is change essere. It's no longer present, it's no longer imperfect, it's in the conditional tense, and then it's followed by the exact same past participles. So we have sarei stato, I would have been. Saresti stato, you would have been. Sarebbe stato, he or she would have been. Saremmo stati, we would have been. Sareste stati, y'all would have been. And sarebbero stati, they would have been. Okay, the conditional past. Here's a different twist. Il tempo futuro anteriore, which is basically the future perfect, okay? So it's the past as viewed from the future. And now, once again, we only change the auxiliary verb. It's no longer in the present. It's not in the imperfect. It's not in the conditional. It's now in the future. So sarò stato is I will have been. Sarai stato, you will have been. Sarà stato, he or she will have been. Saremmo stati, we will have been. Sarete stati, y'all will have been. And saranno stati, they will have been. So you see how we just keep changing that auxiliary verb. We don't even actually change the verb, we just change the tense of the auxiliary verb. Using tenses that we already know, if we know those simple tenses that we covered, and then we add the past participle, and it gives us a whole new tense. By the way, I should have said at the beginning, I know that this drives some people crazy, but instead of saying you singular and you plural, I use the word y'all. So you is you singular, y'all is you plural. Okay, now let's look at two more simple tenses in a different mood, the subjunctive. We're not going to go into all these tenses involved and when to use them, as that is an entire lesson in itself and is already available online. It is also covered in verb drills too, so here we go. Congiuntivo presente, sia that I am, sia that you are, sia that he or she is, siamo that we are, siate that y'all are, and siano that they are. And then the congiuntivo imperfecto, fossi that I would be, could be, was, or to be. Once again, not going to get into that. You can find that in another lesson. And from now on, I'll just use the first section of that. Fossi, that you could, would be. Fosse, that he, she would be. Fossimo, that we would be. Foste, that y'all would be. And fossero, that they would be. Now, once again, if you memorize these two simple tenses, okay, it'll be everything you need with the past participle for these tenses. It's the exact same thing that we covered before in the earlier tenses. Congiuntivo passato, sia stato, that I was, have been. Sia stato, that you were, have been. Sia stato, that he, she was, has been. Siamo stati, that we were, have been. Siate stati, that y'all were, have been. Siano stati, that they were, have been. And then the congiuntivo trapassato, fossi stato, that I had been. Fossi stato, that you had been. Fosse stato, that she had been. Fossimo stati, that we had been. Foste stati, that y'all had been. And fossero stati, that they had been. Once again, don't get hung up on the meaning or the mechanics of the subjunctive. It's a whole series of lessons, which are already online on YouTube, or you can find out where they're at by going to tavoloitaliano.com. Okay, now let's see if we can apply a little of what we've learned, see if you can translate the following sentences into Italian before the answer appears. I thought that he had been there. Pensavo che lui fosse stato lì. Y'all are Italian. Siete Italiani. We will be there tomorrow. Domani ci saremo. They used to be arrogant. Erano arroganti. How many times have you been here? Quante volte sei stato qui? Okay, how'd you do? So, not too good, really good? If you struggled, don't worry about it. You can go over this video as many times as you need to get it right. In addition, you'll find lots and lots of other material on tavoloitaliano.com, always for free. All the information up there is for anybody to use and to help you in your endeavor to learn Italian. Really encourage you to visit that site. Grazie mille for studying with us. Remember, practice makes perfect, so ciao e parli italiano.